everyone, welcome to the Movieception Show. My name is Fariba, and today we actually got a pretty late trailer coming from Warner Bros., which so happens to be the final trailer for The Flash, which makes a lot of sense because the movie comes out in about a couple weeks from now. It's going to be released on June 16th, so it's not even that far away. And yeah, I mean, when we are talking about this movie, a lot of people are feeling pumped about it, but also there is a little bit of that contemplation with Ezra Miller and his legal situation. But even that being the case, the reception for this film so far, it's been shown at CinemaCon. Some people in Hollywood have seen it. Even James Gunn has been talking about this. But, the whole reception for this movie has been monumentous. It's been overwhelming, been positive. A lot of people are calling it one of the best superhero films out there, perhaps even one of the best DC movies out there in a long time, which is a very bold statement to make. So hearing all of these comments in the last, couple of months, I'm very intrigued to see this movie and considering that we are now just about a couple of weeks away, it's okay, wow, we're actually getting to this point. So I'm very curious to see, again, if any of those statements are valid in any sense. I mean, again, Tom Cruise has been talking about it. Stephen King has been talking about it. A lot of people have seen the movie, have been talking about it. And not just that, but just watching the trailers, you can tell how pretty epic it seems. Just for one thing, you have both Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck playing their respective, Batmans. The fact that we're going to see, two different Barrys, the fact that we're going to be seeing Supergirl, and who knows what other surprises we're going to be seeing out of this film. And not just that, but this film definitely feels far different from everything else I have seen from the DC universe, or at least that phase of the DC universe, because we all know that the whole point of this movie is kind of basically a restart for the DC universe, just to kind of have a clean slate. And given that, James Gunn is now going to be the co-head of DC Studios, we all know that this is going to be a reset for the DC universe and its whole film franchise to kind of, start on a, new note, right? So even with that being the case, right, I'm curious to see how this film is going to, play out with its story, how it's going to turn up, what we're going to see out of it, how it's going to, restart the whole universe. But yeah, knowing that we now have this trailer, I can't wait to see what we're going to, what other stuff we're going to see, what we're going to hint about. And I'm going to assume that we're going to see a couple of repeat stuff, but even that being the case, right? Let's see this final trailer for The Flash.
Oh my God! Flash!
Hi.
I love you!
Thank you.
Passing you into Mr. Wayne.
No, please don't.
I need you here now, Barry.
So you're saying you could travel back in time?
Bruce, I can fix things. I can save people. I can save my mom. I can save your parents.
Interesting.
You can also destroy everything.
Love you, Mom. I love you too.
So how was it this week? How's school?
School was good. Oh, this is mad trippy. Dude, this is catastrophic.
This world must die.
I'm not gonna lose her again. It's not Clark.
My name is Kara. I will help you.
Interesting group.
Want some help? Wait, he's Batman?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Oh, dang.
We're in uncharted territory. Batman, what do we do?
We try not to die.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
Oh. Okay.
You have fancy friends.
No, it was an Uber. Oh, exec.
so that was a final trailer for The Flash, and it definitely gives a different atmosphere than we've gone from the previous one. So let's get right down into it. So one of the things that I instantly, recognized was really different was that this trailer definitely gave a far more charming, far more of a comical vibe than we've seen in some of the other trailers, because the other trailers have been very emotional. Like, you can definitely get the sense of the emotional weight that we are going to see with Barry's story. Like, I mean, we all know I think we all get a sense of where the story is going to go. Like, he's going to travel into time, trying to undo basically his mother's death. That's what I'm going to assume is going to be the case. And then, of course, we're going to see the consequences of his actions, which, that kind of seems to be an implication of where the story is going to go. And that, having seen this trailer, it definitely gives a lot of that as the hint. So, I'm going to be very interested to see where this film is going to go for sure. But the fact that we get to see a far more of this charming version of Barry is definitely that we haven't seen before in some of the other films. Although, not that some of the other films, but other trailers, but one of the things that we have seen from some of the other DC films is that, even with how tragic his story has been, how tragic his origin story is, he has, for the most part has, really maintained this really, charming aspect about him where he's very easygoing. He's able to, really connect with everyone in the Justice League, and really showing off this really cool, relaxed nature about him, even though, there's something really deep inside of him that has really kind of been carrying around for him for a long time. And that is, of course, his mother's death. And now, again, we're going to be seeing this film. We're going to see the consequences of his actions, showing that, going back in time just to undo something is not going to resolve anything, of course. That seems to be the case here. It makes a lot of sense why we're seeing, two Barrys, and of course seeing Kara instead of, Clark. And then that might explain also the fact that we're going to see Michael Keaton's Batman and not Ben Affleck's Batman. So again, I think this trailer definitely gave a far more of a better idea of how this film is going to be structured. Just showing kind of the pieces of the puzzles of what's going to happen in this movie. And now, of course, there's a lot of other things that happen. It seems, again, we're going to be seeing Zod come back, so that's going to be one thing. And seeing how that's going to be integrated to the film and how that's going to mesh into Barry's story. Because for the most part, we've known, Zod from, his association with Superman, with Henry Cavill's Superman, and now it's like, here he is, now facing off against Barry and Supergirl, so lots of things to kind of look into that, of course. But yeah, no, I think overall, just again, the trailers have been spectacular, just seeing all of them come together, giving us different vibes, giving us, what to expect. They've been pretty epic so far, just showing us again what we're going to be anticipating for the Flash film. And hopefully, by the time the movie does come out, now tickets are now out for sure. So again, we're just about a couple weeks from now, and hopefully, everything that we've seen so far from the trailers will translate onto the big screen. Again, just hearing the early reception and reviews from everyone around has been, again, just been magnificent. This movie has been described as one of the best out there. So, I have a lot of hopes for it. I have a lot of expectations for it. I'm going to go into this movie. Again, a lot of things going behind this film, of course, with Ezra Miller, but I'm going to go into this film, watching the movie. My criticism is going to be about the movie itself, the story, the character development, how they're going to really address the situation regarding not just, Barry's story with, Ben Affleck and all that sort of stuff, but how they're going to, really reset the DC universe is going to be the big question mark going into this movie, of course, because I'm going to assume at this point that the Flash is going to kind of be the last thing that's left from the DCU, or the previous DCU that we all followed before. So yeah, I think again, I'm gonna look forward to seeing this movie in a couple of weeks from now, and we'll see if those reviews really show kind of just the sign of what this film is about. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the Flash trailer, the final trailer for the Flash. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think about this final trailer? Do you agree that it definitely gives off a different vibes from some of the other trailers? What do you think about some of the things that we've seen in this trailer specifically? It does feel as if, we got a much better idea of how the story is going to kind of be structured. What do you think about that? Maybe was this something that you thought maybe they should have held a little bit, or maybe this was enough to really just hype up for the film, now knowing that the tickets are now out. What do you think about the movie itself so far? Like, what are your expectations for it? What you're expecting it's going to address? What are some of your theories, predictions for the film? How is this going to affect the DC? You knowing that, again, this is going to basically reset the whole universe. Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe.